Please don't kick me. I'm already hurt. 6 words. That's all it took to freeze time itself. Naomi Ashton, 23, blind since birth, orphaned at 6, survivor of poverty and loss, was on her knees. Her cheek pressed against cold cafe tile that reeked of bleach and crushed dreams. Coffee spreading around her like dark evidence. Her white cane rolled away, always just beyond reach, like everything good in her life. Above her, Alaric Reed's Italian leather shoe, Ferragamo, worth more than her monthly rent, hovered. Deciding, should the first shove be enough, or did this blind girl need to be reminded of her place? "You're pathetic," he said, voice smooth as poison. "You should be fired." 37 people watched. 37 witnesses with cameras in their pockets and silence on their lips. Not one had defended her through 4 months of systematic torture. They'd text their friends about the crazy scene later, feel guilty for maybe 6 minutes, then move on. But someone in that cafe wasn't moving on. A chair scraped across the floor, as loud as a gunshot in the terrible quiet. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Inevitable. And everything was about to shatter and rebuild itself. Her hands trembled on the floor, not from fear alone, from soul-deep exhaustion. 2 years of 4:30 a.m. alarms, 2 buses because the metro station still had broken elevators nobody cared to fix. 2 years of smiling through cruelty, of being invisible except when someone needed to feel powerful. "I'll make you another," she whispered, voice breaking. "Please, I'm begging." His shoe pressed into her shoulder. Not quite a kick, just a shove. Just enough for deniability. She's so clumsy, you understand. Her cheekbone cracked against tile. Blood flooded her mouth where she bit clean through her tongue. Copper and shame tasted identical. Behind the counter, Mr. Bertram gasped, but froze. Good man, kind man, gave her a chance after 17 rejections. But good men could choose comfort over courage, could choose silence over sacrifice. "Please," she begged, and Grandma Rose's voice echoed from the grave. "Hold your head high, baby girl. Ashtons don't beg." But she was so tired. Tired of holding her head high while people kept forcing it down into dirt. 37 witnesses, 16 weeks of silence. Then someone finally moved. What if your worst moment was God breaking you open to prepare you for your purpose? We don't talk enough about invisible people. The woman making your coffee with hands that memorize by touch. The man in the wheelchair fighting with the door while you fake check your phone. The single mother with 3 jobs who smiles while serving you, though her power's been shut off for a week. Naomi was everyone dismissed before proving their worth. Everyone crushed by a world measuring value by convenience. Here's the question that should haunt us. How many times have you witnessed cruelty and looked away? We film everything now. Bad behavior goes viral by lunch. We watch from our couches typing, "I would never, stay silent." But would you? Really? 37 people were there. Not one spoke up for 16 weeks. Small-town America. Places where Mr. Bertram's cafe sits on Main Street between the hardware store and the post office, where everybody knows everybody's business. These places pride themselves on community, on being good Samaritans. But knowing isn't the same as seeing. What those 37 people didn't know, someone had been seeing everything. And one person who truly sees can change everything. If you've ever watched suffering and looked away because speaking up felt too hard, this story is your mirror. It's for everyone who's been a witness instead of a warrior. Share this, not for me, but for the Naomi in your life still waiting for someone brave enough to see them. Born blind. Doctors called it congenital bilateral optic nerve hypoplasia. Grandma Rose called it simpler. You might not see the world, baby, but God gave you eyes that see souls. First memories, Grandma's voice teaching her to count steps, read textures, navigate by sound. 47 steps to the bus. Never accept pity. That's people making themselves feel better. Always accept kindness. Then the crash. Age 6. Her parents driving home from Jersey. Mom singing Alicia Keys, Dad laughing. Drunk driver. Red light. 60 miles per hour. Her parents died holding hands in the front seat. Naomi woke in a hospital without a scratch, wondering why God let her stay while taking them. You're here for a reason, Grandma Rose whispered, holding her close through the tears. We just haven't found it yet. At 21, cancer stole Grandma too. Pancreatic. Stage 4. The funeral and medical bills devoured every penny of inheritance. 30 years of double custodian shifts saved nickel by nickel. Naomi landed in a studio with cracked floors, dripping faucet counting down to eviction, upstairs neighbor playing Call of Duty till 3 a.m. The cafe job was proof Grandma was right. Her lattes were perfect. Regulars loved her. Until Alaric Reed decided she had no right to exist. Chapter 4. The Shadow in the Corner. For 6 weeks, Ambrose Prescott had been invisible too. Worn Levi's, faded shirt, scuffed messenger bag, cracked laptop screen. He looked like every freelancer camping in coffee shops, nursing cold brew, answering emails nobody would read. Intentionally forgettable. 6 weeks ago, a delayed Seattle flight stranded him here. He'd been furious, checking his Rolex like time would bend to his wealth. His assistant suggested finding somewhere to work. Google Maps, Bertram's Cafe, 3.5 stars, decent Wi-Fi. 1 hour, he'd planned. Then he watched Naomi ask an elderly Vietnam vet about his granddaughter Maya's soccer, by name, remembered from weeks before. The old man's eyes filled with grateful tears. He watched her explain fractions to a struggling kid using coffee beans during her break. He watched her bring free chamomile tea to a woman crying in the bathroom. Then, he noticed Alaric Reed. Week 1, impatience. Sighs. Complaints. Week 2, public humiliation. Can you even see what you're doing? Week 3, moved her cane. She searched on her knees. Week 4, grabbed her wrist, hard enough to bruise for a week. Ambrose's knuckles had gone white. He'd almost intervened. Almost. But timing matters. He'd been waiting, watching, wondering if anyone else would find their courage. This morning, something whispered, today.
Month 1, microaggressions. Loud sighs when she asked him to repeat orders. Card tapping, tap, 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 like a gavel of judgment while her fingers found register buttons. Unbelievable, muttered under his breath. Death by 1,000 cuts. Month 2, public cruelty. Can you actually see what you're doing or just guessing? The cafe laughed. Uncomfortable laughter, but still laughter. She smiled that practiced smile. It's fine, I'm fine. Then cried silently in the storage room for exactly 90 seconds before returning. Others whispered, that's messed up, someone should say something. Nobody did. Month 3, physical terror. He moved her cane deliberately. She dropped to her knees, hands desperately sweeping while 37 people watched. A teenage boy named Devin started to stand. His father grabbed him. Not our business, son. Mr. Bertram pulled her aside. Try to avoid mistakes with him. Her heart shattered. Even her protector wouldn't protect her. Month 4, assault. He grabbed her wrist, hard. Whispered close, one mistake from homeless. Remember that. She'd applied to 17 jobs last year. 2 interviews, 0 offers. So she endured. Every morning praying he wouldn't come. Every morning at 7:15, he did. Like clockwork, like a nightmare with no end. Until today. How many people have you watched suffer because speaking felt inconvenient? How many times has silence felt safer than standing up? If you've ever been that person, if you've ever chosen comfort over courage, subscribing isn't about entertainment, it's about remembering, choosing differently next time, because someone you love might be the next Naomi praying you'll be braver than these 37 people were. Pathetic, you should be fired. Alaric turned dismissively, reaching for his briefcase like she was nothing, less than nothing. Then the chair scraped, sharp, deliberate, final. Every head turned. Ambrose Prescott stood slowly. His footsteps across that floor had gravity, the kind that shifts atmospheres and changes destinies. He stopped between Alaric and Naomi. That's enough. Quiet as prayer, absolute as judgment. Alaric spun, face twisted. This doesn't concern you. When someone is on the ground begging not to be hurt, it concerns everyone here. He knelt beside Naomi, offered his hand, palm up, patient. Please, let me help you up. She hesitated, 2 years of proving she needed no one, warring with exhaustion. But his voice wasn't pity, it was respect. She took his hand. He helped her stand, retrieved her cane, placed it gently in her palm. Do you know who I am? Alaric sputtered. I'm a senior analyst at McKesson. I know exactly who you are, Mr. Reed. The question is, do you? Ambrose turned to the cafe. How many of you watched this, week after week? Suffocating silence. You've mistaken kindness for weakness, silence for permission. Today, that ends.
Alaric's face went crimson. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. The door's right there. Alaric grabbed his briefcase, knocked over a chair, stormed out. The door slammed. The bell rang 3 times. Punctuation on his exit. The cafe exhaled. Then Mrs. Chen, 72, 5 feet tall, vanilla chai every Tuesday, started clapping. Slow, then rhythmic. Isaiah the delivery driver joined. Then Bethany. Then everyone erupted. Naomi stood trembling, tears streaming, world tilting. Can you sit? Ambrose guided her gently to a booth. She collapsed. Mr. Bertram rushed over with water, hands shaking. Naomi, God, I'm so sorry. It's okay, she whispered automatically. It's not okay. Ambrose's voice, firm but tender. How long have you carried this? Something about how he asked. No pity, no performance, just genuine care. Cracked her open. 4 months. Everything spilled. The fear. Bruises hidden under long sleeves. Nightmares where she couldn't find her cane, couldn't escape. Grandma said, hold your head high. But how when someone keeps forcing it down? Her voice broke. I'm good at my job. What did I do wrong? Nothing, Ambrose said quietly. You did nothing wrong. Some people are threatened by what they can't diminish. You navigate a world designed to exclude you, with grace. That's strength most will never understand. I don't feel strong. I feel tired. The strongest people usually do. Chapter 8. The Impossible Card. Ambrose reached into his worn messenger bag, the one making him look ordinary, forgettable, and pulled out a business card. He placed it in Naomi's palm. Thick cardstock, embossed letters her fingers traced instinctively. What does it say? Mr. Bertram picked it up. His face drained completely. Ambrose Prescott, CEO Prescott Foundation. His hand trembled so badly the card nearly fell. Isaiah pulled out his phone, typed, froze. Oh my God, the Ambrose Prescott, the billionaire philanthropist, just donated $50 million to accessibility initiatives. NPR covered it last month. The cafe erupted in gasps. Naomi's face cycled confusion, disbelief, confusion. Why are you here?
6 weeks ago, flight delayed to Seattle. I was angry, impatient, ended up here. I paused. I watched you remember a veteran's granddaughter's name. Watched you help a struggling kid with homework. Watched you stay kind while that man tortured you daily. Why didn't you say something sooner? I was waiting to see if anyone else would step up. His voice softened. Today, when you were on that floor, I couldn't wait anymore. He leaned forward. I need a director of accessibility experience. 85,000, full benefits, company car. You'd design cafes, train staff, change lives. Silence. This isn't charity, Naomi. This is partnership. Mr. Bertram whispered, You have to take this. Think about it. Call me by Friday. Everything changed.
6 months later, Naomi stood in the doorway of the first Prescott Foundation Cafe in Chicago. Her service dog, Hope, golden retriever with eyes gentle as Grandma Rose's voice, sat perfectly beside her. Navy suit that actually fit, confidence that felt foreign and wonderful. Her fingers traced the Braille plaque, Welcome to a place where everyone belongs. Opening day, tactile pathways, Braille menus. Behind the counter, 3 blind baristas she'd hired worked with fierce determination she recognized in her bones. One, Serena, 19, rejected from 23 jobs, had sobbed during her interview. Nobody wants me. Naomi took her hand. You belong here. Never let anyone tell you different. 6 months of training across 12 cities, her voice shaking at that first conference. New apartment with sunlight and a faucet that didn't drip. Video calls with staff nationwide. Mr. Bertram visiting last month asking how to do better. Alaric had been fired after investigation. She didn't feel vindictive, just sad it took so long. She hoped he'd learned. Ambrose appeared with coffee. 3,000 more applications this week, because they saw you. Later, she visited Mr. Bertram's original cafe, sat in the booth where everything changed. Mrs. Chen hugged her. So proud, baby. Grandma's voice whispered, Always meant for more. Maybe, Naomi said softly. The worst moments break us open so light can finally get in. Sometimes the cruelest moments reveal the kindest souls. Sometimes being knocked down shows us who's willing to help us stand. Naomi's story is just beginning. Somewhere tonight, someone else endures silence. Someone is on their knees, wondering if anyone sees them. Will you be the one who speaks up? We are all brothers and sisters walking this earth together. Every act of kindness, every moment you choose courage over comfort, sends ripples into eternity. God sees hearts that stand up for the broken. He sees hands that lift instead of push down. He rewards those who love their neighbor with peace surpassing understanding. You never know whose life you'll change with one moment of bravery. If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let it be why someone else holds on one more day. Like this video. Subscribe for stories proving humanity is still worth believing in. Remember, the smallest act of courage creates ripples we never see. But God sees them all.